Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk about the new Raid Coasts feature in Mare Nostrum. So, a couple things. Just want to explain from both perspectives how this mechanic works, because it's a bit curious to me how the AI is going to actually use this feature. So, if you're not familiar, Raid Coasts is a new clickable decision that you can make with navies if you are Morocco, Tlemcen, Tunis, Mazab, Touggourt, Djerid, or Fezzan. These are, as far as I have found, the only nations that are allowed to use this feature, even excluding nations that are being created with the custom nation designer. I did look through every single option and I didn't find anything for having this idea, right here. Our Berber traditions give us May Raid Coasts. So I'm not sure if that's maybe just the review build that I'm playing or if that's just intended in Mare Nostrum, but it is not possible unless you play as one of these countries here. So how does it work? Well, your sail speed, in this case, we have 14 ships with a total sail speed of 32, which is based on the speed of each ship multiplied by the number of ships that you have, multiplied by your Navy tradition and any other modifiers that you have equals 32. So we can raid up to 32 development provinces. It's not going to say like, it's not like blockades where if you're blockading, say, Lisboa, Alentejo, and Algarve, you have to have the sum of their sail speeds. No, it's more like, we can raid this because it's less than 32. We can raid this because it's less than 32, etc. So if we just pop right out now into the Gulf of Almeria, we're going to pop out, and then instantaneously, upon clicking this button, we're going to take all of the loot in Murcia. The reason for that is that Murcia is a Catholic province. We are in the sea tile. It has less development than our sail speed, and that just means that we can do it. Sunni provinces, you cannot do it to. You can also not do it to, obviously, your own territory. And if the enemy owns it, let's say like Portugal owns land, but it's Sunni territory somehow, then you can't raid that either, even if they are your enemy. So it can only be used against non-Sunni characters or countries, and from there. So what happens is you instantaneously take the entire loot bar worth of loot. And this money is going to recover over time, just like standard loot if you had parked an army there. And this can only be done once every 10 years. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get a few sailors out of the deal as well. Let's take a look at this here again. You'll notice that for every province that you loot, you get a raided coast modifier of -25 that comes back at +1. So this ticks up very, very quickly. Again, we're going to raid quite a few provinces here on Aragon. We have 100% effective raiding of these other provinces. We're going to get 55 ducats and 343 manpower, or 343 sailors, rather. I don't know exactly where that sailor number calculation is coming from, but it just seems like you get a lot. Like we go way over our maximum every time we go raiding. We're going to go ahead and raid, and notice that Aragon now is going to be very upset with us. -100 because we raided this province, this province, this province, as well as this province. And that's about it. So the only other province, looks like somebody else had raided this one. Probably Tunis came into the Barbary coast and they raided the Baleares. Now, you don't have to be in a sea tile that's related to their ports. You just have to be in a sea tile that borders them. So, for example, if we come up into the Gulf of Lion, we will be able to loot all the way up through here, and it doesn't matter. We'll be able to loot Provence, for example, even though it's not in... The port is actually in this province over here. So you'll notice that Provence is going to show up in this list right there. 100% effective rating of Provence. Now, as far as I can tell, kind of surprisingly, it's not based on your supply range, right? It's not based on coring distance. So if we go to colonial map mode, we can see our colonial distance from our nearest core. It's not based on this, how far you can do it. It seems to be based on 3 sea zones away from your nearest owned province. It doesn't matter if the land is cored or not. In a test game that I did earlier, we conquered Algarve from Portugal, and we were immediately allowed to go 1 extra sea zone. You go 1, 2, 3, up to here, and we were allowed to raid Galicia. Right now, if we were to try to move into the sea tile of Galicia, we can't do it because we are 1, 2, 3, 4 sea tiles away. However, we can loot Galicia from the sea tile right here. So that kind of covers how raiding works from the raider's perspective. I find that it's very, very difficult to keep up with the AI. They are absolutely perfect in their implementation of raiding when it comes to being aggressive about it, meaning that 10 years from now, they will raid every single province available. As a player, it's very hard to compete with the AI because they instantaneously know that it's available and they go and they do it. So good luck beating the AI on that. Now, it seems very, very strong. It's going to affect Portugal and Castile and Aragon at the beginning of every single game. How do you stop it? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it from their perspective. Okay, so now we're playing as Aragon. We're back to 11 of November, 1444. We are obviously the player, and we want to know how do we counteract the raiding of these Berbers. Well, it's actually very simple. The AI is really stupid, and the AI will only raid if they can get a certain amount of effectiveness. And the way that you block raiding from happening, number one, we can't actually do this raiding, is that you just have to apply this Hunt Pirates modifier. So even if you take the worst ship in your entire fleet, which would probably just be like a cog, a single ship can take the mission. You need to have heavy ships, light ships, or galley. Okay, so you can't do it with with transports, excuse me. Well, let's just take one galley. So we take one galley, and we're going to tell them to have the mission to hunt pirates. And we need to specify which sea zone. Hunt pirates in the Genoa node. Right, that's where most of our sea tiles are. And then what's going to end up happening is that as soon as that ship starts protecting trade in this sea zone, we're going to have this modifier here for the number of ships that are protecting against privateering. You might be thinking to yourself, hold on, we're trying to prevent from raiding. What does privateering have to do with it? Well, this modifier affects raiding as well. So it's not going to apply immediately. It's going to take until 1 month, which I kind of don't like. I feel like the AI could theoretically swoop in here and come raid us right now. Let's wait and see what happens. We're getting close to the end of the next month. That would be Morocco's fleet in here. Have they raided us? They have not raided us yet. We'll get a pop-up if they do. They're thinking about it. Morocco and Tlemcen, what are they going to do? So they're waiting, and all of a sudden, now notice this, with a total of 12 guns in pirate hunting and 0 guns doing any privateering, the penalty for privateering in this node is now negative 99%. What that does is it completely prevents the AI from ever raiding you. They will never take any of your province. They will just not do it, at least in my experience. Now, we only protected trade in the Genoa node, and we do have one province down here in the Tunis node. So you'll notice that this sea zone has no protection from it. So very soon here, we're going to see Tunis is going to raid Malta. But we have protected every other province in our entire country just by putting a single galley on that job. And there we go, our coast has been raided. The vile Barbary pirates of Tunis have come and raided the coasts of Malta. These provinces will be affected for quite a long time. Their total loot was 35 sailors and 8 ducats. So basically, as it's currently implemented, at least in the review build that I have right now, just make sure that you stick a single ship protecting against pirates in every single sea zone, or every single trade node rather, and you won't have any issues with pirates whatsoever. I haven't seen them play smart enough where, I mean, all they'd really theoretically have to do is just take some of their navy and put them on privateering for a moment, and then try to raid, but they won't do that. So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in multiplayer, but that's basically what raiding the sea coasts, or raiding raiding coasts is in the Mare Nostrum expansion. Hope this information was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. See you soon.